From my good friend and colleague Arya Sorabi. What do you think about this matchup, Arya?
Hi Tim, hi everyone watching around the world. Yeah, this is a fascinating matchup. Well, you put me on the spot there. I actually wanted to ask you how you go about playing your sparring partner, someone like these guys. They obviously know each other through and through. So yeah, if it was you in this scenario, how would you approach this match?
Well, in general, I'm not too great at it. I mean, to be honest, if you consider how much they travel together, they practice together, I mean, they've spent many years together, played in the same team, won the European Championship teams a couple times. So as you see, it's only going to be smiles back and forth. Like it's going to be very difficult to play your best game with that distraction in the background. So yeah, you could shut it off completely, or you can just let that vibe go and make it comfortable. Just make sure you're comfortable in these conditions. Look at this for a break. Oh,
A little bit unfortunate, you would say, because of the position of the balls. Although it was a fabulous break, as you've mentioned.
yeah, it will be interesting. Now, if he can still, well, I mean, I think he could still go either stripes or solids. The 2 ball does go in the left center. But what would be your opening shot on the solid? So I don't mind to go for stripes, but gotta make sure to get the 15 out very early.
Well, I mean, if it's the solids, you take on the 3 right here. You draw the cue ball very close to the corner pocket, but it's looking like he's going for the stripes. So he's got a different plan in mind. Well, as you can see, there's a lot of balls more or less protecting one another. So if he can peel off one by one off the reel, all of a sudden it becomes wide open.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's nicking out the 15 here to open the corner for the 12. Has to do the same thing on the orange stripe 13 in the top left corner to open up the corner for the 14.
Well, let me ask you this then, Tim. As you've alluded to these two gentlemen, that they know each other and they've been traveling a lot around the world, practicing, competing. What are the obvious strengths of either of these two players?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I would say they're very all-round. They play all games. I would say Albin has a little bit more of a temperament compared to Mario, but then still both do have a temperament. So there is some fire inside for both. Both break the balls pretty well, I would say. I mean, they have big breaks, both of them. So, I kind of feel like this is like they are looking each other in the mirror, kind of like, because the only thing is maybe Mario's cueing is a little bit, how to say, more fluent, but I think Albin's alignment might be a little bit better, a little bit more technical. So yeah, if I have these two playing against each other, I would be having a tough time picking a winner.
Yeah, fair comment. And as is the case for those of you who've just joined us, or if this is the first match today, you've been following it live, as we have 2 channels on YouTube. These guys are playing 8-ball. As you can see in the bottom of your screen, it's the winner's qualification to place themselves in the last 32, and it's a slightly different format, isn't it, Tim? Can you elaborate on the breaking format?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, usually most of the people back home, they play winner break or alternate break, but now we are alternating the break per 2 racks, so 2 breaks each, and gives you a little bit more of momentum, I feel like, and it puts your opponent in the chair also for a longer time. As you can see, Mario is now getting the first game on the board with a break and run. If he can manage another one, That would definitely put Albin in his chair for, what could it be, 5 to 10 minutes. And if you do that a couple times, you know, you can actually force a mistake to where in alternate break, I think you're so guaranteed to get back to the table every 3, 4, 5 minutes, you don't really turn cold.
Yeah, fair comment. And the other thing is, at the highest level, and these guys are definitely at the top of the game, you know, all these little details are magnified. So if you're playing alternate break, two breaks per player, and so for some odd reason you get a dry break, you know, that can accumulate. So maybe one error and one dry break can make the world of a difference. And next thing you know, because I've done a match earlier today where the guy was playing pretty much faultless, one miss and one dry break, and he's lost the match 8-4. It can turn that quickly.
Yeah, and I think it's also especially playing 8-ball, just because we are having world-class players here and they get options after the break too. Now if the layouts show up like this, then it's going to be interesting, because those are very difficult to run out. But when they're in the open, give a top player a couple choices after the break and he will figure out something. Now, yeah, what would you play here? I mean, I basically wouldn't even like to start. Maybe I would make one stripe and play safe.
You've changed a lot, Tim, over the years.
Well, I think I learned a bit when to go and when not to. Because in this case, I just think there's just no future. Like the 14 and the 9, they are available. What kind of shot do you have to open up the 12? And what kind of shot do you have to open up the 10? Low percentage.
I think, honestly, more than anything, I think the bank on a 10 would be possible, or maybe the 4 is just in a way in the line of the bank shot. But the pink ball, that's the 12, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, he does have the orange 11 to get to the pink 12, but then from there he has to get straight on the bank if the bank still goes past the 4. So it's like a lot of ifs, and when I hear if too many times, I tend to shy away from running out.
There you go. That was perhaps a two-way shot, but it has to be said, it didn't get the result he was after. Once more, I'm not so sure whether the bank is on right now on the 10. So yeah, it's looking like, unless he's producing several magical shots, it's highly unlikely that he will run out from this visit. But the more balls he pots, the less traffic there would be.
Yeah, the main thing for him is he's never going to keep shooting here. Like, he realizes that he has to bring at least a ball near the 10 or the 12 to make sure in a later inning that he has something to open up the clusters. And the more balls you keep potting from there, the less balls you have later on in the game to do something, and your opponent gets more opportunities to play safe.
I don't know about you, Tim, but usually, because we are so much used to seeing these top players run out racks, it's actually racks like these that I look forward to most, because here you can really see the tactical astuteness of the players, because they can all pot and they can all create angles. They've got pretty much all the shots, but it's racks like these where it's more of a chess match. It's interesting to see who gets the upper hand in that department.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. In general, pool is a game where a player who shoots the most straight is going to win. But then, once in a while, you have a couple games like these. I like those. But it's still funny though. Albin did go a little bit aggressive there. I was going to say, if Mario cuts the 13, runs into the 1. He might still have the 11 on to open up the 10, but he knows that everything has to be so perfect. Every little bump he was going to play from there had to be perfect. So that's why he's pushed the 13 in front of the corner.
I like the tactical decision there, because he's done basically two things. He's blocked the path for the 5 to be putted in that corner pocket, but he's also left the 13 close enough where if he manages to get an angle on it, he can develop the, was that the 12, the pink 12? However, now it's Albin's chance to nudge the 1 at least away, and if he's a bit lucky, he might even develop the 5, or at least leave himself a shot on the 5.
Well, what do you think about running in between the 1 and the 2 to play for the 5 ball? And when you push the 12 over, the 1 is also available to the top left. And the difference for Albin too is, he was trying to get a little straighter, but it still has the 5 ball. The difference is there is also a bank shot available on the 3 ball, which Mario does not have the bank on the 10 ball. So the run out is a little bit more available for Albin.
There is an ultra aggressive shot here, Tim. If he wants to put the 5 in the bottom left corner pocket, he can run his cue ball into the 10 and the 3, and it might be the shot he is opting here.
Well, definitely has to try though. Oh, he didn't. Okay. So he must be playing. He knows that if he gets kind of straight on the 4, he knows that he will be pretty close for a bank on the red 3 ball. Oh no, he tried to open it up. Look at that for a shot.
Gorgeous
Excellent
shot.
cue ball.
Enough angle to punch the cue ball up and down. Shouldn't really cause him any sort of trouble here. There you go.
Nifty little shot there. Actually, we should be paying a little bit more attention because we could have spotted that. But clever shot. Knew that he was always going to be on the 4. And he's stealing this rack from Mario. Mario's second break, and it will be Albin breaking the next 2.
It's the first little blow here by Albin, providing that of course he does convert his 2 breaks coming up certainly.
Now, I did see in general this table has been breaking a little bit different from table 1. I'm actually not too sure why, but I've seen some great breaks on this table still ending up to be dry. So I see the softer breakers get better results because the ball's tracking towards the side. They are not getting anywhere close with a very firm break. Now I do know both of them, they like to to break pretty firm, I would say. So let's watch the 2 balls tracking towards the side pocket. Let's see if they can get close.
That's the last thing you want at this stage. Well, here's an early chance for Mario to redeem his first break loss.
Yeah, main thing for Mario with losing one of the 2 racks he just did, main thing is to look at a 2 each score line with him breaking the next 2. That would be the minimum he's going for, and I think he does have a nice layout here as well. Maybe a little bit of traveling. The 10 is not the most available ball, but he does have the 11 ball near. Now Also, he might opt to go from the 15 to the 14 straight away and use the 12 to get to the 10. Because if he plays 15, 12, 14, then he might have a little bit of trouble to get from the 13 back down table. So I might like to go straight to the 14. No, he's more worried about that 10 ball. He's opting to get there as soon as possible. Might have to play a stop shot here on the 11 area and cut the 10.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that. The red stripe, the 11, and then the 10. Of course, it's, you know, I wouldn't mind going for that route, but it's looking like he wants to solve the puzzle using the 13.
Ooh.
Nice calculated shot there.
Yeah, very good cue ball indeed. Needed a perfect bump on the 2. Could have went wrong. Not ending up with a shot, but landed nicely on the 10. So now this will open up the rack quite a bit. The only thing is the 8 doesn't go in the bottom left. So he needs to make sure he gets some angle on the 11 ball to still cross over for the 8 in the same corner as the 11, I'm assuming. You can see from this angle the 8 just barely doesn't go to the bottom left.
Mario reaching for his little mini extension. It's interesting because some of the players they've got that little extra extension screwed on all the time. Don't know about you, Tim. Is that anything you would do on a regular base, or are you more old school, just screw it on when you need it?
Well, I'm a very short guy, so in general I can use a little bit of an extension. So I basically wear the extension every time, every shot. But that's just because I don't have as much reach.
Well, it's looking like he needs to top this one through and put the black in the center pocket closest to his hand, you would think. Just off 2 rails, nothing crazy to do with his cue ball. Whoa, he's powered through. It's landed a little bit short, but it shouldn't really cause a problem for him.
Well, it is the cue ball on the rail, but that's definitely a shot everybody puts a lot of time in practice, shooting from the rail. Level cue. And he does pull one back. 2-1 lead now, Mario He. Albin breaking his second. Really needs to make a ball on the break, Albin, because one more dry break could really get him into trouble.
Yeah, what was fascinating about the position of his cue ball, obviously it's in the kitchen and is a break box, so there is a, you are limited where you can place the cue ball, but I felt like he put it flush in the same line with the first ball, so not even the smallest of angles, which is, you don't see that too often these days. They always use some sort of an angle.
Well, I'm not sure if he was trying to get there, but now one interesting thing though, yesterday they had, I think, 1 or 2 wins. Let's see, I think they had 1 win before this. Yes, 1 win before this. They both played on the TV table and they both struggled quite a bit. They both had a close 8-6 win in the winners round 1. So I was actually expecting them to not play amazing this match, but if they're going to start making 3 balls on the break, just like Albin did, we could be in for fireworks.
And yet he's not ideal on the first ball.
Yeah, can you imagine? Make 3 balls on the break and then possibly either have to cut the 9 or the 3 ball. But I think
this
he
is
likes the solids more.
Yeah, this is a cheeky shot, but he can play the combination 10 to the 7. As long as he calls the 7 and he pots the 7, is automatically on the solids, and from that point on, it shouldn't really have to be that difficult. And you know what? I think he is going for that shot. So he's playing the 10 on the 7. He's calling the 7. Only after the break you can go for this type of shot. But then when the 7 drops, you're automatically the solids. There you go. And from this point on, it's just about connecting the dots. Wouldn't you say, Tim?
Yeah, I think that was an excellent call. I really liked this shot because the 7 really wasn't available anywhere. Now, the only ball I'm not too sure about is the yellow 1 ball in the top side of the table. It might be blocked to top left or top right corner, which, I mean, it might still go to the top right. In that case, it wouldn't be too tough. 3-2, 1-4-8. If it doesn't go in the top corners, then he might have to play the 4 first and then the 1 to get to the 8. He's landed a little bit far though, yeah? This is no good.
Yeah, I was about to say he's left himself a negative angle on the 2 where he can't really cross the table to pot the 1. Here you can clearly see the 1 does pass the 11, the red stripe, but that shot isn't available to him right now. So he needs to... yeah, he's got enough angle to go around the rails here. Forward with a little bit of left spin. There you go. Yeah, so he's redeemed the situation. Unfortunately for him, he did lose his first of the 2 breaking options, but nothing, no panic station so far. It's 2-all.
Yeah, sharing the breaks so far. Albin and Mario. As you can see on the other table, 2 young stars. Daniel Masiol, one of Poland's best players. He's up against Yannick Pongers, one of the Netherlands' Dutch best players. So, as you can see, quite the early lead for Masiol. It looks like the score is now 4-0. But we have to stay focused on this match. Mario has 2 breaks now. Only had 50% in the first 2 breaks.
Yeah, so you can clearly see Mario places his cue ball right at the edge of the breaking box, whereas Albin is a bit, centered lined. And this is definitely not a dry break, was it? Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh my days. Oh, that's horrible. I mean, look at the spread of the balls. Nothing really safe here.
Well, that's the thing with 8 ball. Sometimes you feel like you're breaking the ball so well. And I also said that both players, they like to break the balls firm. So you would say plenty of movement. How can you have a dry break? But it still does happen.
Yeah, it's very easy to fall in that trap where you can almost feel entitled or sorry for yourself. We always, it's an endless discussion. We talk about the perfect break. What is the perfect break? Well, I mean, there's numerous theories about this, but ultimately, first and foremost, you need to pocket some balls. At least that gives you a chance and a visit at the table. Sometimes you can hit it flush, like you said, and you run a bit unlucky, but then you have this situation where basically you might think, if you're watching this, why is he taking so long? Well, it's about choosing which way to go about this, but you can't really foresee him missing this opportunity to clear the table.
Yeah, I mean, if someone would give me the option to put a little wager on this rack, I would always take it. I mean, there's no clusters. I think either the stripes or the solids would work. For stripes, he has to take out the 11 ball as soon as possible. for solids, I felt like the one ball was a little bit difficult to reach, but yeah, overall, plenty of choices to make. And that's what I mentioned.
You mentioned
with
the
these
11.
top players. Go ahead.
No, well, you mentioned the 11, and he's landed absolutely perfect. I don't know whether he played that shot, but you know, he can within this shot he can solve that problem right away. There you go.
Yeah, and that was exactly the point I was trying to make also, is the fact that if you give both of them a rack like this where they have so many options, like if he had not landed on the 11, he still had the 15 and the 14 to get to the 11. So yeah, so many outs. And what a chance for Albin to at least guarantee himself a 3 each scoreline if he gets his run out here.
He needs to decide whether he wants to screw past the 5 using the long rail, or he wants to play in the gap between the 3 and the 5 to get access on the pink 14. Or is that? I think that's the 12. I beg your pardon. This is the 14, in fact. Yeah, so he's injected a bit more pace, guaranteed himself a two-way shot. No harm done.
Just a little bit of traveling from 10 to the 8, but does have a clear path. Top right spin. And then this 8 to take the lead once again. This is to make it 3-2. Mario to break one more, but this is guaranteeing a pretty decent scoreline for Albin if you consider your opponent has 2 breaks, and after the first break you know you're at least staying even with someone. I mean, I'll take it. Just gotta make it happen on your own 2 breaks.
Absolutely, Tim. So can you just explain what would happen for the loser of this match? Would they be eliminated, or are they still within a chance?
No, they are now playing the winners qualification round, so the loser goes to the loser qualification round, the loser side of the bracket. The good news for both of them is the loser of this match doesn't have to play a lot of matches to still get to the last 32, because they have already won 1 or 2 matches yesterday. So that is the good news. But obviously you get a better seeding in the last 32 if you qualify through the winner's side. So yeah, they're definitely playing for something. But it's not the worst thing that could happen if one of the 2 loses, because they are going to meet probably a player in the loser bracket that has played maybe 5, maybe 6 matches in a row. And then I would say one of the 2 players here are more rested than someone that has played 5, 6 matches. He did make a ball on the break though, so far no real advantage, I would say, either way, assuming that Mario is going to clear the table. Ooh, landed a little funny there, Arya. He's not on the 9, I feel like. Does he still have the cut on the 10?
Well, he's got the cut back in the middle if he wants to for the 14-12. Sorry, the pink 12. What am I saying? But yeah, well, so that's the shot here, and just needs to avoid making contact with the 2 stripe balls here on the bottom of your screen, just like so. And this time he does land, I was about to say good, but a little bit hampered with his cue ball options.
Well, the worst thing is, most of these shots, I know both of them, they're great straight ball players as well. They play on multiple balls at the same time, so he knew he was going to get either the 10, 13 or the 9. But to land jacked up over the 10, yeah, that's something you just don't have that much control on. And that's where the mistake came from, just basically the cue ball running just that little bit too far. And it looked like he put a little bit of body, yeah, it was a body movement on that shot, didn't he?
Yeah, some unwanted side. And as you were just explaining, when the cue comes up in the air, and if you're not striking the cue ball directly in the line that you're aiming at it, you will inject a bit of more or less like a masse shot, you know, those the famous ones that you can see in the trick shots. And then so the cue ball starts to arc, and then it's off its path of aim, and then you can easily miss a shot like that. Now with a great chance, Albin here, to really give a psychological blow to Mario, because this is on his final of the 2 breaks, and he could be facing 4-2 down with Albin to break twice after this. Yeah, I like this shot because he's playing in an area, as you can see, where the cue ball is landed. Even if it wasn't completely perfect on the 7, which he is, and he might still not take it on, he would always have the 6 in the bottom left corner pocket. And I think he's gonna take that shot on, because again, he's gonna play his cue ball in a zone where he leaves himself 3 options, whether it's the 3 in the middle or the 1 and the 7 in the bottom top right. Well, he could, well, I think he just ran a bit too far for the 1 in the, the yellow 1 in the right center pocket, but he's definitely got the 7 here, and his cue ball is still on a string.
Well, I do like playing 6-7 and then the 1 in the corner, because you have such a big area. So was a little bit too sensitive to hold for the 1 in the center, but knew the 7 was connecting the 1 to the corner. And that's also where I think Albin plays very interesting straight ball and 8 ball. He sees the connections. So most of the time when you get straight on one shot, it just instantly gives you another stop shot or stun on your next shot. And that's how he makes the game look very easy. He's gonna take a 2-game lead here. 4-2 Albin. No way something happens here. So has definitely managed to break Mario. Does have 2 breaks coming up. So a possible 6-2 coming up with 2 successful break and runs. But as you see, we have not only seen break and runs so far, so plenty of drama still to come, I feel like. As you see on the other table, the Dutchman, Yannick Pongers, in trouble. Not sure, yeah. Martial just put a 6th rack on the board. Now, I do know Yannick is not a huge fan of playing 8-ball, but he surely won't be amused being down 6-1 in a race to 8. Not exactly sure what we are waiting for right now, Arya, but maybe the referee had to take a little time out himself. I mean, I don't exactly know what we are waiting for, but hopefully everybody can bear with us. Now, interesting little fact, most of the people would know, but for new viewers, is the fact that these two, they're not only representing both Austria, they're not only European team champions within the same team, but also they have won the World Cup of Pool, I believe, twice or 3 times, which is a worldwide doubles tournament basically. And these two are one of the strongest pairings on the planet, but now they're facing each other, so you can imagine there must be quite some energy between the two of them. We could possibly be waiting for the score to update. Maybe the referee is working on the score, because Albin is leading 4-2. The only difference basically between the two of them is Albin has won the World 9-Ball Championship twice, and Mario has not won the World 9-Ball Championship yet. But definitely could still come, he's such a great player. There is that break. 3 balls in. Ooh. What do you think here?
I mean, realistically, there's not an easy pot on the stripe ball, so basically it's looking like the table has forced him to go for the solids here, and I still do see an outing for the solids, although he needs to really get a good tight control on his cue ball if he wants to run this rack out.
Yeah. Can you imagine? You make 3 balls on the break. You look at the layout and say, "Ugh, really?" It's not the most horrible if he gets straight on the 3 ball, right?
Yeah, well, the reason you're saying this, Tim, which is quite rightly so, as you can see, there's you know, at the bottom right corner, a lot of balls that are blocking one another. So if he lands straight on the 3, obviously the next shot would be to follow up this cue ball towards, let's say, towards the between the first and the second diamond, to have a nice positional shot on the 2 or the 7 in the bottom left corner. But although I don't think that shot is on now, because he's landed with too much angle, so realistically, if the 4 does not pass the 2 and the 7, he needs to, if he's still going for attack, of course, he needs to develop something here.
Yeah, might still be able to play inside spin, trying to catch just a little piece of the 7 ball. But you know, it's a very soft, a lot of spin. If you play it too firm, it's going to bounce off the rail too fast, so you have to cue it perfectly. Or does the 4 go? Can he land still to get... I mean, it doesn't look like he's going to open up. Oh, he was trying to open up the 7. Yeah, like I mentioned, it's super sensitive, that kind of shot.
You know, no points for guessing what the big problem here is for Mario, of course.
Well, I am considering making the 15, drawing back to where the cue ball is now, and then to play a safety on the 13, like open up the 13, get it out, and maybe bring the cue ball up table behind the 9 or the 12. Something similar.
Do you know what, Tim? I don't think that's a bad call whatsoever. Actually, this is a time in the match where, yeah, you clearly see there's no intention to pot a ball from this visit. Trying to play safe, and he's developed the 12 and the 9 there.
Yeah, maybe he was even thinking if he gets ball in hand, or Albin will be kicking or playing safe at least at the bottom side, anything he gives Mario on the 13 is an opportunity now because the stripes are open.
That's good enough. No clear path to the 13 like you've mentioned, so that's going to be a key ball for both of these players really, because the 13 is also blocking the solids for Albin, so Mario should have the advantage here in the safety department, but he needs to come up with a good shot here. So
I'm a little bit surprised he's playing this though.
He has called this. Yeah, this was more like a shot to nothing in my eyes. I think he definitely played the safety, as you can see where the cue ball has landed, but he's called the shot where, so that at least after that he's still got an option to play a better safety.
Yeah, well, I think it was maybe too early to pocket the ball yet, because like whenever you make the ball, he's kind of forced to do something after. Now I like the fact that he's pushed the 12 ball over the corner, but I mean, the 13 still is Mario's problem. Do you think Albin can play a stop shot on the 2, like freezing the cue ball on the 13, and the 4 ball will be in between the 12 and the 15? Like, do you think he can hit it full enough, the 2 ball?
Well, what I would say for that shot is it is the shot that gives you the maximum result, but it's also the most risky shot out there. Yeah, so deliberate. Oh, I was about to say deliberate foul, but you could definitely see the edge of the 7 there. By doing so, he has opened the pocket for Mario to pocket the orange 13 stripe. So, and if he can get to this ball, which I think he can, because he is looking at it, he's won the safety exchange, because there's nothing preventing him to clear this rack and get one back on the board again.
Yeah, I just think the safety shot Albin tried to play, it was super sensitive, and it was just as risky as playing the safe on the 2. But if I look at the 2 ball from here, I don't like it as much, so maybe it was the only shot he had. Well, needs a good shot here though on the 9. Bring the cue ball 2 rails to the left side of the 15.
Well, you called it, Tim, and luckily for them, they are playing at the best conditions and best table. So, in some parts of the world, that shot would be really, really challenging. And although these guys are playing on the top-notch quality, and he did strike the cue ball as good as he could have there. Yeah, 48 in the middle. Nicely straight enough. Yeah, so Albin would be disappointed after having forced an advantage, because after that there's still one break left for Albin, but you know, he would have loved to be 6-2 in ahead. Now at best it would be 5-3 or even 4-all. Who's to say?
Yeah, when I mentioned earlier on when Albin won the fourth game on the board, I said, you know, Mario could be looking at a 6-2 deficit, but that's only in the case that there would be only breaker runs from Albin, and that plan goes right out of the window, I would say. This match is one of those matches that could go all the way. I mean, they are so similar in game, not exactly the style as in technique and anything, but they are just so knowledgeable both that, yeah, especially with how they break the balls, I think we could be in for a long match here.
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. I mean, at the top of your head, if someone would ask you in any event, and providing that we're not looking at the current form of either of the players, you go, well, we have a matchup, Mario Hef versus Albin Ushan. Can you predict the score? I would 9 times out of 10 say, well, whoever wins it, it will be at best maybe 1 rack in it, if not 2. And it's always going to be close with these two guys because they know each other and they're really well matched also. You know, it's not like either of the two players has a huge advantage in any skill department. So, and that's the thing, you know, Albin, of course, of the two of them, is the most decorated player. He's pretty much won everything there is to be won, you know, in a professional pool, and Mario gets to practice with him on a daily basis. So that also, you know, brings up Mario's quality of play, and that's why it's hard to see either of the players run away with this match.
Well, what do we have here? Another chance for Albin. This one looking a little bit better, right?
Yeah, I would say he can float this 4 in and leave his cue ball, you know, let it just drop on the left top rail, and then he's got an option between the 6 and the 1.
Oh,
it's like a drag shot, we call this.
I'm a little bit worried about the 2 ball though. Like, in general, I think the stripes are laying quite alright. But he did go for solids, and it will be interesting to see what he plays on the 2. The 2 ball is near the rail. He could play the 6, 2 rails and bump the 11 out, so the 2 does go to the top left corner. But as you can see, the 2 is pretty close to the rail, and there's a lot of players that are not a big fan of shooting that ball in the top corner when it's so close to the rail. As you see, he has not chosen to open up the corner. Is he going to shoot the 5 and try to run the cue ball in the 2? I do like that. From this position, has to kind of go for it. Doesn't have another chance.
Well, he's moved 18 balls there, except for the 2.
Yeah, surely wasn't trying to run into the 10 ball. And I think the only reason why he ran into the 10 is because he's hit it slightly firmer to try to run the two ball really off the rail. If he had played it soft, he probably would have ran into the two, but no future after. So it's kind of, it was a tricky one, and he kind of knows that he's in a pretty horrible position right now.
Yeah, so from this position, look, he can definitely play the bank from this position. And the 9 being more or less like a stopper for the cue ball. He could find himself, if he makes this bank, with a shot at the 7. Yeah, he's called the bank. For those who do not know these terminologies, a bank shot is where you use the cushion to pocket the ball in a different, not directly in a pocket. Oh, look at the 9 there. Well, he's missed the bank as well. However, he has closed up shop on the 9, so there's definitely one ball where what needs a bit of attention here for Mario if he wants to level the scores. Just the slightest of angle here on the brown 15. Can he run into the 9 and the 7, you think?
Yes, but might have to play a little bit of a stun run. As you see, it's a little bit straight. No, he was playing the short side shape of the 9. I don't mind it, but in general, I think you're always gonna have the angle going towards the 14. Like, we will have to see more traveling. Can he still get shape for something on the 10? Well, this is shape for something on the 10, so decided not to nudge the 7-9. Wow, what a match.
Swings, a lot of twists and turns. I mean, if you would have told me it's 2 breaks each, 8 ball with these guys, and either one of them would fail after 8 racks to convert 2 of their breaks each, I would not have believed you. But that is looking like the scenario here.
Oh, he even overspun the ball there. Look at this, he's gonna land straight in on the bottom left corner. I think it still does go, but he was trying to play the 8 in the bottom right. Does it? It surely does go, or at least based on my eyes.
Yeah, it goes because he's already on the shot. He is a bit hesitant though, so it's not 100% sure. It's gone off the 7. Wow.
Can you believe how he's made the 8? How
Wow.
thin and both of them, they are enjoying this too. Like that, I mean, that must be the funniest thing you'll see today. I mean, that is just unreal. Imagine that pace too. Try to carry him off the 7 with that pace. That is fascinating.
That's insane. But very important visit there for Mario. He's leveled the scores again. He gets 2 breaks, and yeah, astonishingly enough, neither of the players have converted 2 breaks. They have per player. So let's see if Mario can actually force some sort of advantage of these 2 breaks. He's definitely more than good enough to do so.
Yeah, now he has leveled the score for each, does make a ball on the break, so basically the original initiative he had in the match, winning the leg and breaking the first two, did come back after 8 games. And so far so good. I think he could go either way. Wouldn't mind to play 9-14, get on the 11. Just to get from the 11 to the 12-15, that should be it. Could also go for solids, cut the 7 and go 2 rails. Basically has plenty of options if you look at how the balls are spread, so it doesn't really have to worry about bumping balls or opening clusters. That's a good news. But a little bit of traffic, so we'll have to maneuver the cue ball nicely around the table. Yeah, that
Nice.
nudge really opened up everything, didn't it? Straight in on the 4 area. Yeah, not the toughest of runouts here. Oh, doesn't want to push the 11 in front of the 6. You could see on his body language he was starting to get nervous with the 11 ball moving, but he's fine though. It's been a while since we've had a breaker run. And this time it will be a breaker run for Mario He, who gets another breaker run going and gets a long time ago since we've seen the lead for Mario He.
It looked to be going in the wrong direction there for Mario when he was trailing 4-2, and it was Albin to break twice, but luckily enough for Mario, Albin failed to convert these 2 breaks, and now all of a sudden Mario is actually back in front.
The edge of the pocket there, living on the edge, Mario He, but he stays at the table. I mean, that definitely is something. Let's see how aggressive he will play, because I kind of feel if he can make the 3-ball, I kind of like the solids. It's not too horrible. I think the stripes are a little bit worse, but the only shot he has on the solids is the 3-ball. I'm sure he's not a big fan of shooting that at this point, but it's either that or pushing the 13 into the 5, trying to cluster up those 3 balls, 13, 5, 10. And then maybe bringing the cue ball back to the top short rail near the second diamond, but that way you do give initiative to your opponent, to Albin. Or is he going for a cut on the 13 and trying to make something happen? Yeah, he is going aggressive. Oh, that 5 could... Okay, it's not too horrible. I was gonna say it could block the 14. That would mean the end of the run out.
You just know you're in for a treat when the commentator says, okay, it's not horrible.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's just far from over. Look at the 11 ball. And the 14 definitely is not one of those balls you can use to open up the 11. So he has to get something perfectly on the 9. And then that happened. And things are just starting to get worse and worse. And yeah, I just really did not fancy the stripes.
And in this case, it's perfectly imperfect. He snooked himself on all of the stripes here, so he's in a bit of a trouble here. He might even consider a deliberate foul. Wouldn't you say, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I'm considering, do I still want to go aggressive? Am I gonna make the 1, try to open up the cluster? Kind of feel like you have to, but he's already not on the 4 ball.
Yeah, I would go as well. Far from convincing, that was.
That's just... I think it's just so interesting how, like, these two players, you can just see that playing each other, they're struggling. Like, we have not been even close to neither of them their best game. We're gonna see some magic here, though.
Yeah, well, it's called the bank shot, so it's a long straight bank on the red 11 stripe. This is to get a 2-frame advantage for the first time for Mario. Very makeable bank, by the way.
Oh, look at this, look at this. Oh, look at that cue ball. Can you believe it?
Well, Tim, there is one shot here, and it's far from easy. I think he can use the long rail. So if he's going jacked up and he can find the line here, he can use the rail here as he's looking and jump over the 3 and pocket the 8 there. And I think that's his only shot he's got here. There you go. See, it's jacked up, use the rail, and he needs to get his hand out of the way as quickly as possible. Well, that was the shot, and as you could see there, it was definitely not easy, but that was basically the only shot he had, and definitely worth going for as well.
Yeah, can you imagine? He makes the bank, gets shape on the 8. Now he's leading 6-4. Turned the whole match around, being 4-2 down. But that's all history. He's given Albin ball in hand on 5 open solids. to level the score once again. What a match.
Whoever wrote this script, they should win an award. 5-all, neither of the players has broken run twice in either of the turns they've had so far. After 10 racks, it's still 5-all. All to play for as Albin takes a short timeout, as will we, Tim, and stay tuned for the finishing part of this match.
And welcome back from the Slovenia Open Kamui Slovenia Open in Podcetrtek, powered by the IBPF and the Predator group. We have such a great match going on. Arya Sorabi and Tim de Ruyter in the booth. We're 5 each between Albin Ushan and Mario Hay. Let's go.
Right at the last second the ball dropped there, Tim, but in doing so he's got a very nice layout here to his disposal. So what would you do, Tim? It's looking like solids.
Yeah, especially if you look at the pink striped 12 ball on the left long rail. Not too much future on that unless you want to shoot that all the way to the top left corner, which in general pool players are not a huge fan of, so I'm assuming he doesn't like it either. He could punch the cue ball half ball of the 1 and just play shape on the 3 ball. So nudge the 1 out, make sure you always guarantee to be on the 3. It's a little bit of a tricky shot though, like you don't want to leave the cue ball close to the 10 and you don't want to nick the one ball too thin. So you really need to develop something here. No, he has chosen not to play it. Does it? I mean, I'm assuming the one still does go, but if you catch anything off the 10 on this 7-1 combination, the one won't go. As you can see from this angle, perfect angle.
Yeah, nicely done. And now all of a sudden there's nothing in his way to clear this rack.
Yeah, probably 6, 4, 3, 2, 8. Can run the cue ball quite a bit from the 3 ball. 3 rails around the 11, towards the 2, so a little bit of a stun off the 4. I cannot really go wrong with 3 rails here unless you manage to hit the 11. But anything in the center of the table is okay. He's hit it a little bit soft though. Look at how soft he's hit it. He's okay, but a little further away from the 2. And we'll have to kill the cue ball a bit here.
Yeah, nothing past his putting skills.
Yeah, I feel like Albin, one of the best shot makers in the world. Usually doesn't shy away from that one big shot on the rack. That's why I also think he's a multiple world 9-ball champion, because he breaks the balls well, and if he has to take one big shot on, he doesn't really shy away from it. It's a great quality to have. Score now is 6-5. Albin OUSCHAN. His sister just won the WPA World 8-Ball Championship, so would be cool if they both would win events within a week or two, but still a long way to go. Important break coming up. Could possibly put himself on the hill first. Well, what do you think about that break, Arya? It's looking pretty good, isn't it?
Absolutely. Nice solid contact on the first ball. You can see by the spread of the balls. They've flown around the table. And he's got options here. But you know, myself, if he's going for the solids, I would be tempted to just right away take off the 6 there. So you don't need to deal with that, but maybe he's also trying to open up this pocket for the 7 Eventually he has to play position, and he's done so here right away. What a shot he's played there, by the way.
Well, at some point one of them was going to get comfortable, I would say. But what a match in general. If you look at the momentum swings, Albin being up 4-2, Mario having the opportunity to go up 6-4. And now we're getting towards the point where Albin could get himself on the hill for a 7-5. Yeah, it would be nice to get on the 5-ball first. I think the 2-ball lays a little nicer to get to the 4, and the straighter he gets on the 4, the better he can put himself on the 6-ball. So easier to get something on the 4-ball going over the left side of the table, the bottom side of the table, than the top side. That's why he's played for the 5-ball.
Well, you've mentioned it before. He wants to leave himself straight enough on the 4 so he can control the cue ball.
Yeah, and I feel like that's just ideal. Ball and hand shape on the 4. And the 6 connects nicely to the 8 in the left center. As you see, a little bit forward. Could even stun in between, so he's close, near the 8. This is to get on the hill first. One step closer to get to the last 32 single elimination stage. And all the pressure on the break for Mario now. He does have 2 breaks, but he's lost the advantage. Has to break the balls perfect twice and run out, and then basically pray for another opportunity on Albin's break. Tough times for the Panda. Well, that's the first hurdle. Does make a ball on the break. Now, I have to say it has happened quite a lot to where the cue ball ends up pretty much near the top short rail or near the corner. So not ideal, doesn't always give the best options, but he does have the 6 or the 9 in the bottom left, so could make something happen. If he goes for the stripes, the pink 12 ball is tricky, doesn't go to the corner because the 2 ball is blocking. If he goes for solids, the 1 ball will be difficult to get to, and the 2 ball will be blocked by the 9. Do you have any preference, Arya?
I would rather go for the stripes, to be honest with you.
Well, he has chosen for solids. I am very curious to see how he's gonna solve this, especially as he did not land on the pink 4 or the yellow 1 ball. Might as well go for 7, 2 rails and play the 2 in the bottom left. Try to get the shape right now. That would make life a little bit easier. Did not get as nicely on the 2 as he liked to be. And I think he's kind of forced to take it on because the angle on the 5 is way too big to get something on the 2. There's no balls nearby the 2 ball, so yeah, how are you going to play on the 2 ball later on? I think he's planning to still cut the 5, get on the 1, and then get from the 4 to the 2 ball, but he's postponing it a little bit. Does he get on the 1? Does he get on the 1? I think he's played an excellent shot there. Look at this. And now just the correct angle on the 4. Would like an angle tracking towards the right long rail on the 4 ball. How is the pace? I think the pace is there. So now 1 rail, top left spin, trying to run towards the 9. Trying to get the 2 ball in the bottom left corner. What a run out this would be, because obviously he knows that any mistake could cost him the match. And this is far from easy, this run out with that pressure as well, and how the balls are laying. Oh, is the cue ball gonna get there? Is the cue ball gonna get there? The answer is no. That, yeah, I mean, needed a little bit more spin, but it's always easy to say afterwards. He probably felt like this was enough and he was focusing on the speed. And we'll have to bank the 2 ball. Maybe bank the 2 ball. Can he draw the cue ball into the 12? Like, that might be an option in between the 12 and the 8. But make the bank. Has to make it. No, well, it's not there.
I was about to say, Tim, you could clearly hear a lot of question marks in the tonation of your voice. So that in itself is an indication how tough the situation was.
Yeah, I mean, the layout, it was just very difficult, and whenever he did not get on the 2 ball early on, that's where I feel he kind of lost the rack. And now, yeah, I mean, look at Albin. He's cruising. He knows that this position is so wide open. Not much that could go wrong. So, looks like we might have a winner. We might have another player through to the last 32. Surely he still has to finish this rack, but playing a good friend of yours, I would not assume that there is a lot of pressure because it's your comfort zone as well. So 1 rail up to the 12. Now we do have plenty more action to come still. 3 more days of action. So make sure to stay tuned on all our channels. And there you see the handshake. So Albin is through to the last 32. Mario will have to put on a good performance in the loser qualification round later on. Thank you, Arya Soabi. And this was myself, Tim the Writer. Thank you all for joining us, and we will be back very shortly. So make sure to stay tuned on all our channels. We'll see you soon.